Hi everyone, I'm Alex at Battlefront, and today I'm going to take you through how to use some cool Battlefield in the Box terrain to set up a great table for Flames of War. I'm going to start with putting down a big natural feature like a river. And when it comes to setting up a table, a good idea is to think about why people are fighting where they are. Give your story a bit of a narrative, and a river is a handy way to do that because rivers are where towns are, rivers are where roads are, rivers are places you're going to fight over. So when you lay down a river, make sure you don't have it in a tiny little corner cutting everything off. You want it to be important, you want it to be something that you do fight over, and you want to make sure it sees some action, so make sure it has a purpose in the game. It can't just be blocking off a piece of the table or you'll never get any use from it. After that, sticking down roads is always a good idea because this gives you the layout of any town or village or city or whatever you might be fighting over, because again, if you're going to have a town, it's a good reason to have it sort of make sense in the battlefield. Sort of towns don't just they're not just roads all over the place for no reason. They have a purpose, and you want that purpose to be evident on the table. So there's the thing there, and I've got a crossroad there, so I can stick a little bit out that way. That's fine. And another bit going off the edge of the table there. And crossroads are cool because, you know, in the game, your tanks are going to want to use roads to get that movement speed up, to get where they want to get to quick enough. And so having crossroads is going to, you're going to have fights over the streets. Now, over here, obviously, we want to have a crossing of the river. So this is sort of where our river crossing is going to be. And also make sure you don't just go down to one point across the river. Otherwise, this is where if I'm defending, I'm going to just shoot here constantly and you're never going to cross. So I have two. There's a ford there and a bridge there. You could go three or more. That's all good. So that's our road and river and bridge. Next, I think I'm going to put some trees down. So forests are really important on any table because you want them to be blocking line of sight to certain places. And it's important that you don't stick all of your woods and trees and things on the edge of the board, because again, it'll not only heavily favor anyone who is defending the edge of the board, but also nobody's going to go out of their way to use a bit of cover way over there when they can gun it down the center for a more sort of effective attack. So I'm going to pop that tree there. And then I think we'll get one more here. All right, so we've put down our trees, and next, some hills. And they're the same. You don't want them sort of on the edges, you want them to fill up spots. Right, so we've got our natural features down, some roads. Now would probably be a good time to build out our village here. Get ourselves a nice big hotel or a bakery or some sort of, and a nice townhouse there. You don't want to put your buildings all over the place. Like you might think, you know, when you look at houses in the real world that they're quite far apart, but ground scale is different here, and a house there and a house there provides really no use in the game because you want your infantry and to be able to move through them and you want other things to be able to use them to block line of sight and shooting. So it's always best to try and get them together as a town would be, and so that they're useful in the game. There. And having said that, I'm going to go pop a little house here because I'm going to put a farm down. And if I'm going to put a farm down, then I'm going to need a place for my farmers to live. So we'll stick one here, good for a bit of cover. And then over here, we'll place those. And so now there's a little farmhouse here to tend the farm. So that's looking pretty good. The final thing we're going to put down is a little bit of linear terrain to help break up the lines of sight a little bit more, but to cover things. Make sure linear terrain, like everything else, has to have a purpose on the table, like a reason that it's there. So for instance, you know, these guys are going to have fence in the back here for their backyard. And so that's why there's a fence there. Makes sense in the game, and it has use in the game because you'll be able to play around that. We could stick some more fences over here. Over here's some nice brick walls and things. So we could run a brick wall along the edge of this road. Like so, with a gate just here. And then perhaps these guys here have maybe a bit of their field fenced off. And that's all fun. Right, so I've put everything down and I'm looking at my table and I can see a few things I want to touch up. Like I want to get rid of these because they don't quite look right. And this open space here, I might want to put another hill down just to make sure there aren't too many open spaces, because open spaces means more or less certain death for anybody trying to cross them. I think I'm going to push this out a little bit. All right, so there you have it. We're done with our Flames of War table, and I'm pretty excited to have a game on it, which I'll be doing in a moment. And you can pick all of this stuff up, trees, hills, roads, from Battlefield in the Box. Cheers.